Tina was a beautiful nail technician with a big smile and shiny black hair that fell like waves of the sea. Her shop, Tina's Fancy Fingers, was the most popular in town. Women and girls loved coming to get their nails done because Tina's designs were magical. She could paint butterflies, flowers, rainbows, and even tiny birds on nails. Everyone praised her work, and her shop was always full. But Tina had a secret, a dark secret. Behind her sweet smile and kind voice, Tina was not fully human. She was half human, half fish, a creature from the underworld sea. Her legs looked normal, but under certain lights, faint silver scales shimmered on her skin. No one knew this except Tina herself. Every time a customer came to her shop, she trimmed and shaped their nails. The little pieces of nails would fall onto a soft, pink cloth. While the customers admired their new nails, Tina would quietly gather the tiny nail pieces, put them in a shiny, blue jar, and hide it under her counter. She would smile sweetly as she dusted the table, making sure every single nail piece was collected. "Don't waste anything precious," she would say with a grin. Her customers would laugh, thinking she was joking. But Tina was not joking. She was deadly serious. Why is she keeping old nails, you may ask? Well, let's find out. Every night, after closing her shop, Tina would lock the doors, turn off the bright lights, and light red candles in her secret back room. On the floor was a strange, round symbol drawn in white chalk. It looked like a circle with fishtails and stars around it. In the center of the circle was a small black bowl filled with water from the deep ocean. Tina poured the little nail pieces into the water, one by one, whispering the names of her customers. Rose, Sarah, Anita, Joy. Let their hopes be washed away. Let their stars be mine today. As she spoke, the water in the bowl turned dark blue, swirling like a tiny storm. A cold breeze filled the room, and a deep voice echoed in the shadows. "You have done well, child of the sea. Their luck is now yours. Their hopes will fail, and they will return to you seeking more." Tina smiled wickedly. She knew her powers were growing. The more customers are coming, the stronger she becomes. Every time her customers came to her talking about a job they wanted, a wedding proposal they were hoping for, or a business deal they expected, Tina would listen carefully. "Oh, that sounds wonderful," she would say sweetly. But in her heart, she laughed. She knew they would never get it. One by one, Tina's customers started noticing strange things. Rose had been waiting for a big promotion at work. She had talked about it to Tina while getting her nails painted pink with white flowers. But a week later, Rose didn't get the job. In fact, she was moved to a lower position. When she came back to Tina's shop, she sighed sadly. "Tina, can you believe it? I didn't get the promotion." "Oh no, that's so sad," Tina replied, her face full of concern. "Don't worry, things will get better." But inside, Tina was laughing. Sarah was another customer. She had been planning her dream wedding and told Tina all about it. "My boyfriend said he's going to propose next week," she giggled while Tina painted little gold rings on her nails. But weeks later, Sarah came back looking heartbroken. "Tina, he broke up with me," Sarah whispered, wiping tears from her eyes. "He said he's not ready to marry." "Oh, poor Sarah," Tina said, patting her back. "Some things just aren't meant to be." But deep in her heart, Tina smiled. She knew why it happened. She had stolen Sarah's luck. And it wasn't just Rose and Sarah. It was almost every customer. They came in happy, talking about the good things they expected in life. But after they left, those good things never happened. Instead, their plans failed, their dreams shattered, and their luck disappeared. And guess who they always came back to for comfort? Tina. The more they came back, the more nails she collected. The more nails she collected, the more luck and power she stole. Tina wasn't just stealing luck for fun. No, she had a bigger plan. In the deep underworld sea where she came from, her master had promised her something special. "If you bring me the stars of 500 people, I will give you full power over the human world," the deep voice had told her during one of her midnight rituals. "You will walk freely on land and sea, with so much power at your disposal." That was Tina's goal. She wasn't just taking luck. She was stealing people's stars, the bright spiritual lights that guided their destinies. Every time she captured someone's star, it sank deep into the underworld sea, and her power grew stronger. One day, a woman named Linda came to Tina's shop. Linda was not like the others. She was quiet but watchful. She sat down for her nails, observing everything Tina did. When Tina began to file Linda's nails, she asked, "Why do you collect the nail pieces like that?" Tina froze for a second, but quickly smiled. "Oh, it's just to keep my shop clean. You know, cleanliness is important." Linda nodded but didn't believe her. She noticed the small, black, velvet pouch under the table. Quietly, she waited until Tina went to get more nail polish. Linda leaned down and peeked inside the pouch. Her eyes widened in shock. "Nail pieces from so many people," Linda whispered. Her heart pounded in her chest. She knew this wasn't normal. When Tina returned, Linda acted calm, but her mind was racing. She had seen the strange symbol on Tina's floor earlier, but now it made sense. Linda had heard stories from her grandmother about sea witches who could steal people's stars. Her grandmother had warned, if you see a woman who collects nails or hair, run far away. She's stealing your destiny. Linda left the shop that day, but didn't stay silent. She told Rose, Sarah, and the other women about what she saw. "Tina is stealing our luck. She's taking our stars," Linda warned them. At first, no one believed her. "Tina is so sweet," they argued. But after thinking about all the strange things that had happened, missed jobs, broken relationships, and bad luck, they started to wonder. The ladies came up with a plan. Rose, Sarah, Linda, and a few others decided to visit Tina's shop late in the evening. They pretended to be regular customers, laughing and chatting as Tina worked on their nails. But they kept watching her every move. As the clock struck closing time, Tina smiled sweetly. "All right, ladies, we're done for today. See you next time." "Good night, Tina," they all said, pretending to leave. But instead of going home, they hid behind the shop, watching through a small crack in the back door. Minutes later, Tina locked the front door, pulled down the blinds, and turned off the main lights. The women held their breath, peeking through the crack. What they saw made their hearts race. Tina stood in the middle of a strange circle on the floor, red candles flickering around her. She poured the tiny nail pieces into a black bowl of water. Her eyes glowed a ghostly blue, and her voice changed into something deep and echoing. "Rose, Sarah, Anita, Joy, let their hopes be washed away. Let their stars be mine today," she chanted, her voice sounding like waves crashing against rocks. Her legs began to twist and shimmer. The women gasped as Tina's legs melted into one long, silver fishtail, shiny and wet like fresh scales from the sea. "Ah!" Linda screamed, unable to hold it in. Tina's head shot up, her glowing blue eyes locking on the door. Her sharp teeth showed as she hissed, "Who's there?" Her scream echoed like thunder. The women panicked, running to the front of the shop. Their screams attracted a crowd. Men, women, and children rushed over, asking, "What's happening?" "She's a monster. Tina is a mermaid witch," Linda shouted, pointing at the shop. The crowd grew angry. "Open the door," someone yelled. They broke down the door, spilling inside. Everyone froze, eyes wide with shock. There she was, Tina, half human, half fish, her tail thrashing angrily on the floor. Her eyes darted around, wild with panic. "Get out," she shrieked, her voice sounding like crashing waves. "Leave me alone." But it was too late. The people had seen her true form. "Bring salt water," someone shouted. A few people ran to nearby homes, returning with buckets of salt water. Tina's eyes widened with fear. "No, don't do it. Please," she begged, her voice no longer fierce but desperate. Splash! The first bucket of salt water hit her, and Tina screamed like a wounded beast. Her silver tail began to turn gray, her skin cracking like old stone. Another bucket came, then another. "No, I was meant to rule you all," Tina howled, her voice fading as her body started to melt into thick, white sea foam. Her hands reached out, clawing at the air, but it was no use. Her body crumbled, bit by bit, until all that was left was a puddle of foam and a small, black pouch. The women picked up the pouch and poured its contents on the floor. Tiny nail pieces spilled out, followed by glowing lights, little stars that floated in the air. The crowd watched in awe as the stars flew back to their owners, bringing back the luck and blessings Tina had stolen. "She's gone," Linda whispered, breathing heavily. The people stood in silence, staring at the foam that used to be Tina. No one spoke, but they all knew one thing for certain. Never again would they trust a nail technician who kept their nail clippings.